Hey everybody, my name is Jovanay Carter. I'm one of the co-founders of The Dev Difference, and I'm so excited to invite you back to an episode of our podcast where we talk about all things from hiring to getting a job. Today, I'm so excited because I have a really special guest. This is Jovan Carter, also known as my dad. He is a battalion chief at the DeKalb Fire Department here in Georgia. And I'm so excited to have him share his learnings and experiences in hiring and what he looks for in leaders. Yeah, welcome, Dad. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. This is my first podcast, so don't think I'm gonna be real good at it, but I'll give it a try.
So my first question is really to educate a little bit for listeners. Can you tell us a little bit about the fire department? What does it mean to be a battalion chief for people who don't have any access to this field?
The fire department is the first responders that go out and help people when you call 911, whether it's a fire or you're sick or you're stuck in a car or the water or wildland fires. We deal with natural disasters, you name it, we go to. As far as what I do, I am senior line supervisor. I supervise approximately 35 people on a day-to-day operation. And what that entails is staffing, fire trucks, stations, daily responsibilities. And then I also respond to significant incidents. And I'm also more like a subject expert.
And we talk about this a lot, but you're no longer running in and out of fires. You're more so managing the larger scope of who's there, staffing those fires, making sure that they have what they need to execute.
That's correct. So mostly I spend a lot of time with supervisors. My main job is to instill the ability to help leaders become better leaders. They are directly responsible for first responders.
Like you didn't just wake up one day, apply to the job. You went through the rings of the fire department. You started as a firefighter. I remember being a little girl going to the fire department all the time, going to the station and hanging out with the firefighters, seeing them have dinner together, getting on the truck every now and then, going to a call.
Yeah, it's funny. It's amazing to see young people come in now because I remember that. I'm not gonna say how long I've been doing this, but over 2 decades. And then some. The fire department has been a part of my life since I was in high school. I grew up in Chicago, and it was early on exposed to me that was what I wanted to do, because that was the first time that I seen a professional Black man looking polished and really shining and a positive role model. And once I looked into what that was all she wrote.
So let's get into some hiring things. So you have, like you said before, you are a leader of leaders. So you have all these people under you that are captains of different fire stations, and then they have people under them. So you've probably hired a lot of people over the course of your career. How many people have you hired?
Well, let me give some clarity. We have a recruiting division, right? And then we also have human resources. Mm-hmm. So when someone fills out an application, that application gets vetted through human resources. Human resources will then send it to whatever the department that person wants to apply. Public Works, library, police, sheriff, and fire department. So once they send it to the fire department, the recruiting division does a little bit more vetting. And so if they meet a certain group, they pass certain written tests, background tests, all these other things, then they go through a physical agility test. And that's kind of where I'm injected. Mm. And so what I have done, I was kind of the face of my organization with an introduction to the fire department. So I would bring insight, and I would, also represent how it's supposed to look. And then I would walk them through parts of the organization, the fire service is not for everybody. It is definitely special individual to be able to go through someone's threshold that's on fire and to be able to function, survive it, and help others. Would say over 3 years that I was a part of that process, maybe about 200 people.
I appreciate your lens on this because I feel like we talk so much about like corporate and tech and all of that. And as interesting that that is for our field, it's really interesting to see it from your perspective. There's someone's life on the line. If you're hiring the wrong person, or if the right person makes the wrong decision, that could be very costly for the entire department. And soft skills are super important.
So when I deal with my supervisors, they deal with the firefighters, I deal with the supervisors. And to get someone, let's say, to go into that burning building, that firefighter has to have trust in that officer. So it's one thing to give someone an order and say, do this, right? But there's other things that go on a day-to-day basis that I help. Disciplinary problems, conflict resolution. And so just like the firefighters are disciplined on things, the officers have to be developed on how to handle those things too, and how to address them when they are faced with someone that is, dealing with emotional stress or someone that is dealing with mental health. And there's a certain way that you have to handle those things. And that's kind of what I do with the officers. I teach them how to have soft skills.
What are really green flags that you look for to say, okay, this person is ready for this sort of promotion?
In my process to become a chief, I had to learn how to think like the chief. So one, you have to put yourself in the position that you want to be in. So some of the things that are definitely green flags, when someone shows commitment in the current role that they're in, that's a go for me.
So what's the difference of someone who might be committed? Like what commitment looks like versus what it doesn't? And do you have to be loud about it? Like, or how can you be seen by people who may not be looking at you all the time?
So no, people that are loud about it is obvious, The people that are committed make it a part of their daily work, their daily activities. When I say commitment, that means whatever their current role is, they're doing it 100% fully engaged. They are killing it. That means that you're committed to whatever you're doing. So now I know we put you into this next role. That's the expectation. You're going to be committed to killing that new role. And everybody has areas of improvement, but if I'm constantly having to coach you on the same thing that I talked to you about last week, or you're constantly having conflict with your subordinates, or if you're constantly having problems with your performance, you're not ready for the next level.
Right. And what about someone who's external of the company? So you don't know what their previous work is like. What's a green flag? What's a red flag to someone who you can't see past maybe 4 or 5 years of your experience?
Right. So in that case, references come strongly recommended because we rely on, that whoever they put down, it goes with a grain of salt, right? They're not going to put down somebody that's going to bash. But, we can actually pick up on little cues that, can lead us the right way. And then the interview. Some people interview very well. They turn out to be not the best employees versus somebody that may not interview well. And I can identify, this person's nervous, or this person maybe didn't interview well, but they have a great work history, or their resume is very good. You can just tell, I struggled with that. I wasn't a good interviewer, but I had a work history that was amazing. And so you got to work on that. You got to be able to narrow it down to be able to just sell a subject. And you just, don't overtalk it. Answer the question, have a conversation about the question, and leave it alone.
And then from the hiring side, what can you say to people who are hiring and who want to give opportunities to people who may not be the most crisp interviewer, but what would be a really good and committed, employee.
No, you gotta have filters in there to kind of weed out things that would already be flags. I mean, obviously use HR for your background checks, references. You gotta have layers in place to cut out some of the fluff. And then, in my line of field, as far as public safety goes, if someone is willing to do it, we're willing to try it. But that doesn't fit for every industry. So, but for what I do, if you're willing to step up, I'm willing to give you a try.
I know a lot of people spend a lot of time training in school or taking courses, certifications. I know you did quite a few certifications, like you were always trying to grow your skills somehow. But then there's also another side of it, which is like experiential learning. Maybe you need to volunteer for a few things, or you need to get experience in more ways than what your job is just providing you. What's the balance of trying to stand out for leadership when you are trying to decide between getting education or growing experiential skills?
Again, I think that one's specific to the industry
Mm,
because obviously someone with a high level degree can't come in and be able to put out a fire.
mhm,
But we look at it as like, all right, this person shows commitment. So if it comes down to us hiring you and I, and we both done good on everything up to that, yeah, that goes into account
mhm.
because this person showed that they are able to finish something. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be a better firefighter, but once you get higher into the ranks, you do need a higher level of education. It helps you think, it helps you rationalize, it helps you
Yeah.
be able to handle things. And we would hope that you got some type of training to be able to do these things dealing with, people.
Yeah. So I know from my experience, just growing up as your daughter, that you have pretty high expectations. How do you think about emotional intelligence and setting expectations in tandem? So maybe at some points you kind of have to be a little bit kinder, and then some points you have to actually be a bit stricter on your expectations. How do you go about that, especially with your leaders?
Well, that's tricky because you don't get it right. It's difficult because I make mistakes. But I think the difference is when I identify I made that mistake, I quickly, try to learn from it. Sometimes there's very big decisions that need to be made. For example, termination for someone that, you know, unable to perform or some type of behavior issue. And you try to work on them to help them grow and realize um, their impact in the organization. And
Mhm.
maybe they're just not getting it. That one's really difficult because there's you're dealing with humans, and
Right.
I can give all of the expectations I want when I'm dealing with adults, but unless, again, remember, I'm dealing with supervisors.
Hmm.
I can walk out of there, and as soon as I leave, they just say, "I don't worry about it."
Hmm.
But what I try to give them is buy-in. It lasts longer. It's not an order, and now they understand.
You mean you try to get the person who you're trying to train to buy into the idea that you're positioned to?
Correct.
Okay.
Right. And so if I get buy-in, whatever it's like I have a product,
Mm.
right? And I want them to buy my product. Uh, if I make them buy it, you know what I'm saying? They may not want it, and they'll just throw it away once I leave. But if I sell it to them, I tell them why it's the best shirt, and I say it's a good deal. So when I'm not around, they're wearing your shirt.
Hmm.
And so now the younger people, they see their supervisor wearing that shirt. Hopefully, not everybody's wearing that shirt
Yeah.
versus me just wear this shirt.
Hmm.
When I leave, they don't take it off. You have to learn your people. You have to try different things. I believe in supporting people. I believe in giving everybody a chance. And I really do think people want to try to do the right thing. So it, again, I'm a student at this too. leadership is not cut and dry. It's very, very challenging. Yeah. And even the best leaders have areas where they wish they had done something different. So that one is layered and ongoing.
It makes me think too, how much of that emotional intelligence in your leadership have you learned or picked up from just being a father and a husband and a son and a family member? Like, it's not just me, you also have other children and small children that you're raising right now while you're also in leadership position. And so you have a lot of areas of leadership. And maybe there's crossover in some ways, and maybe in some ways you have to keep them separate.
I read a book once about leadership, and it spoke about not to compare my adult subordinates as children. But to answer your question, I use some of the same techniques I used for you when you were growing up, or my youngest son. You tend to take things a little bit more serious. It's just something that I noticed in my years of being a leader.
So let's talk a little bit more about technology and how that impacts the fire department. How do you see like this age of AI coming into play in public service organizations?
At the end of the day, for the fire department, that's going to be where the rubber meets the road. Now, there will be some areas where we can use AI. For example, we have a system in place right now. When someone calls 911, I'm able to get a satellite view image of that house and see what's going on. If there's something that I need to add or take away resources. That's one thing as far as hiring we already do is AI helps us with filtering
Okay.
candidates through the HR process,
At the resume?
application, the resume, and it helps streamline what we actually are looking for.
Mhm.
And so we got to kind of gate that back a little bit because, we don't want to just miss, that person that doesn't do well with resume or interview. But we currently have AI in place right now.
How do you make sure that it isn't just like looking for keywords, but that it is that you are thinking about people who might not have a ton of experience or like be coming out of high school, but might be committed to the points that you made earlier?
So some of that I can't speak to because where my level is where the rubber meets the road.
Right.
Um, that's something for the HR. I would hope that we still would monitor those applicants. I remember during COVID, we had to do digital interviews, and that was a mess because you had people in their bedrooms, in the bed, interviewing. And I just I wonder if they would do this if we would be in front of them. So
Right.
I was glad that went away because now I get to see you, I get to read your body language, and hopefully, small cues can help us make decisions. So
Yeah, I'm curious what you think about how someone should really show up to an interview. Like a quick Chief Carter play of like what you need to do to show up to an interview and get a job.
So when we do interviews, we always do board interviews, right?
Mhm.
And my role as the chief, let's say a firefighter and a captain brings them into the room. And so I'm sitting there.
Mhm.
And you got to know it's going to be nervous. I would be nervous.
Mhm.
You go in there. I always like to put people at ease. I like to introduce, hey, how you doing? And so that's just my style.
Mhm.
Because once I get them to take that deep breath and those shoulders go back, now we can have a conversation.
Yeah.
But as far as what I am expecting, if you come in there and you got a FUBU sweat on and Jordans, I don't care if they the new 11s. I think that's not the right place for that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you got to be in a 3-piece, but I do want to see that you try.
Mhm.
We've hired people, they were coming from another job, but at least they iron their clothes. You may not know all what to wear or just come in your best.
What do you think leaders in other fields like technology can really learn from the fire department, can learn from other public service organizations in terms of how they raise leaders, how they hire people, and just your people management skills?
So I think we do that well. Obviously, I'm biased because I don't know that industry, but the fire department has instilled in me tools that I am constantly creating an environment that creates leaders.
Yeah.
I'm giving people problem solving scenarios where it's not just a yes or no.
Mm-hmm.
And so what that is doing is giving people an aha moment. So when they're challenged with those things, they're like, all right, this is how I would go about that. And it's a process. Those are all things I learned in the fire department. It's got nothing to do with putting, wet stuff on the red stuff. That is leadership and maturity.
Okay, last few questions, and this is a fast round. So we try to do a game at the end of every one of our podcasts just for some fun. This is called hire or no hire. 5 questions, just would you hire this person or not? First question is, they have every qualification, but they show up to the interview late.
No hire.
Why?
Well, the fire department is timely. We got to get out the firehouse fast. We got to get to work on time.
Mm-hmm.
Attitude over aptitude every day.
Got to be on time.
Early.
Mm-hmm. What is early?
30 minutes, an hour before
wow.
your time. Yes.
Okay. Even to the interview?
To the interview.
Okay. Next question. They have 0 experience, but they sent over a 2-minute video buttoned up explaining how much they want this job. Like, they don't have any experience in anything public service related.
Is this supposed to be a face-to-face interview and they send a video in place?
Let's say that this is the application.
Oh, okay.
Like
0 experience?
0 experience, but,
In my field?
Yeah.
Hire.
Because
remember, if I have someone that's willing to take on this dangerous level of environment, you've already done 90% of the job, saying that you will do it.
Attitude.
I'll do the rest.
Attitude over
aptitude.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They say they're a team player, but they never say the word we when you're asking them questions. They say, I do this or I do that.
Hire. You've identified that is a key thing. I had to learn that as well. I had to learn what teamwork was, but I knew I wanted to be a team player. You can train that.
Okay.
Absolutely. That just needs to be taught.
Okay. They actually sent over a resume that's a video, not an actual file, but it has strong leadership stuff. It's just that the way they sent it was kind of unstructured. They were trying to stand out, but it's through TikTok.
Nah.
Why?
Simply because you couldn't follow the instructions. This is the entry. I just need you to hit my basic benchmarks to come in. I have a lot of applicants. They met the criteria. I can't be filtering through your the way you decided to do it. So definitely not gonna hire you.
Okay. That's fair. It's funny. I did just get an application that was a video resume as opposed to a document, but she sent the document as well. And so I saw both. And different industries, like in my industry, I was like intrigued by it. And it showed her creative side and it showed her commitment.
That was better because in tech, that shows how to use TikTok,
Yeah. Well, to be fair, it wasn't TikTok. It was a video, just a video that she sent. So, but yeah, that's a good example.
That worked out.
Last question is, the interview goes great. They've had experience that they needed before. But when you ask them why you really want to do this, they say, well, it pays really well.
That's a reality. That's got to be a high. This is a real economy with real life adult problems.
Yeah.
In real life. That's a real reason to commit.
Yeah.
You're going to get a good employee out of it.
That's true.
You don't want a lot of fluff. Now, there may be, layers to that, but if they coming to work for the money, they're going to not want to jeopardize that.
Right.
So hire them.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That is my dad. and battalion chief here in DeKalb County. Thank you so much for coming to this podcast and for it being your first podcast and sharing so much about what you learned. And I hope this was helpful for people who are both looking to grow leaders in their company or looking to grow leaders in their teams, as well as people who are looking for jobs and trying to figure out how to really stand out to someone who they really look up to. Yeah, thanks for training me up to be a leader. I hope to have the same sort of clarity that you have in my future.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Hey, good luck out there.
Thank you.